Me just looking up at the ceiling like that is better.
Right, we'll start again. Now we should be all right now.
Make sure, Dave. Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Should be all right. Yeah. Right, let me just share out to where I share out to, and then we'll be going. Did you see that we had a conversation? I had a conversation with Ian about us being blocked, and he reckons we're not.
Yeah, but I can't see us blocked, Dave, when I'm on there either. So
it comes up now. So it comes up here now. You can't post at this. You can't post in this group. Is what it says on mine now. Yeah.
I've got a feeling because it might be connected to the other show. But
well, he reckons that one's not blocked either.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but when it comes on, it is on there. It is on there.
How many followers do you have?
We normally get about 3,000 people watch the show, like eventually, through the week. So it works out really well.
Brilliant. When did you start it all?
8 years ago. Been going for eight years.
8 years. Yeah. We used to have a studio, obviously, before COVID, and it affected everyone. And then obviously it's gone to where we are now. But some shows we do get 5,000-6,000, don't we, David? It depends on the subject, really. If you
get more than this time.
Well, there you go. If you've kept it in follow, you three, you're in.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with me and Dave. It's only the guests.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you'll be minus 3,000 this week then.
I was going to say, it'd be really low because no one knows me yet. The youth side, Dean. The youth side of football. People know me, but.
Right, we won't be a second, and then we'll get going. Just trying to find what I'm looking for.
While we're looking there, Jake's come on and gone evening gaffer and chairman. So obviously Jake knows who you two are. Cameron, we'll come back to you in a minute.
It'd be a shame if you didn't.
Can you still hear me? Because I just put myself on silent mode.
No, we can hear you, Cameron.
That's good. I didn't think you'd want to hear my phone going ping.
Just trying to find something, and then we'll be away.
Oh, I know what you're trying to find.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it. I know it's on here somewhere. Hopefully it's that one.
There you go, look.
Hopefully it should be. It should be scaring the screen. So we shall go. Well, welcome to the D&K Reposs non-league show, and hope it's the first time that we've had the chance to actually play those credits. So hopefully everybody enjoyed those. But as usual, joining me for tonight for the next 2 hours, of course, in the top left-hand corner, of course, is Keith. And how are you, Keith?
Yeah, I'm good, Dave. Thanks. Let's see. I can't believe you left the last picture of a referee, even though he's a friend of mine. You're obviously trying to wind me up.
He's a lovely bloke.
No, he is.
And of course, also joining us tonight for this new club special, I suppose we should call ourselves tonight. And of course, we'll go through as I see the screen in front of me. So top right hand corner next to me is Simon, and of course he is the owner stroke chairman of Dunmow Football Club. So welcome, Simon.
Thanks for having me on, gentlemen. Pleasure to be on. Look forward to the next couple of hours conversation. Thank you. Thanks, David. Thanks, Keith.
No problem. So then, of course, a living legend in the bottom corner. Of course, he's the governor himself of Dunmo, and of course that is Alan. So welcome, Alan.
Thanks for having me. Delighted to be here. Thank you.
And the poor lady that's going to have to put up with Gordon Boateng. Dear me, what have you let yourself in for? But bottom right-hand corner, of course, the club that my daughter May's going to be going to do some work for as well. Pamela Johnson, of course, the chairwoman of Hertford United. So welcome, Pamela.
Thank you. It's an honour. It's great to be here.
It's lovely to have a lady on the show, Keith, isn't it?
More to come.
No, it's nice to have a sensible one on the show, Dave. Yeah. And
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Listen, we're a good diversity football show, Dave. So it's lovely to have different people on. So welcome all three of you.
So we'll talk a little bit about, we was going to go into it and we was going to start talking straight away, talking about Coach Gate and how we're setting up teams from start and finish. But of course, some big news has dropped in the last half an hour. So if you guys are okay just talking about that for the first half an hour, that'd be great. And I don't know if Pamela looked at me, looked as if saying, "What news was that dropped?" But we'll tell you, Pamela, because literally the FA have dropped tonight that there is a possibility, I suppose we could still call it, of a complete restructure of steps 4, steps 5, and step 6. Am I right, Keith? 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, mate.
For the beginning of next season. So that sort of come out of complete left field, out of everywhere. Well, completely out of the blue, I would say, and I think Keith would probably agree with me, and the guests would agree with me as well. And thoughts, Keith?
Professional show, Dave. I think they've really done well. They've brought it out as people can go out for a drink for the first time outside to try and soften the blow. I think if you're a club at step 7 and step 6 that have done and spent a hell of a lot of money, as the 3 people that are on the show tonight that are going to do to get ground grading to get into the league, I think is brilliant. I think if you're a step 3 and step 4 club and a step 2 club, I think it's an absolute disgrace. I think people at the FA that have got the job need to get sacked. I think it is an absolute embarrassment, as we said many before, that they don't really care about non-league football and they brought it in. The restructuring idea 2 years ago was brilliant and I was explaining to Simon before the show started about making a perfect pyramid. And obviously there's a league at step 4 that needs making, obviously 5 and 6 and all these clubs. And I think we had the Project Non-League on 2 months ago, Dave.
Yeah.
About all these places that can, and I 100% agree with all that. But you can't wait one rule for one and one for another. And going back 2 years ago before the pandemic started, I was very anti points per game. I think the season needs to be finished, start and finished, and that's the way the rules are. And now I think promotion should be on that benefit of what it was for them clubs. And when you're looking back at Walden and Chiptree, you're looking at South Shields, who lost £250,000 going to court over not being promoted last year, and to let clubs below them get promoted without winning a league, I think is an absolute mockery of football. So that's my personal opinion. I still think there was a way to do steps 7 and 6 because there was an opening where ground grading comes in for it. And going back years, and I think if the gentlemen are as old as I am in football know that you used to have to get floodlights done and perimeter fencing and X amount of turnstiles to get you on the pyramid ladder, which is a massive thing from starting up from football. It's huge and a big expense. Then I agree with that. But going forward, I think it is absolutely ridiculous. And obviously, people that know me, I'm quite passionate about it. But I feel for them clubs that have spent a lot of money now.
So where do you think people like South Shields stand then? Because if this goes ahead, where does Jeff Thompson stand then? Do you think he's got a good place to be to get his money back? And guys, if you don't know, I think South Shields spent about about £250,000, Keith, wasn't it?
£250,000.
And trying to sort out a legal sort of thing before to try and get the null and void taken away as such, or something along those sort of lines. So to me, he's got to have a good shout at that. But there's going to be this. Do you think this could stop the league starting in August? Because there could be sort of like
ratifications. Yeah, listen, mate. I said to David, they won their league. Jersey, which maybe the Jersey Bulls will come into that category now of being promoted if it's one of them. But they won their league before the first lockdown happened, not prior to the points per game and it all being null and void. That's why they took them to court and lost. And in my opinion, rightly so, because the season didn't finish. But now to have teams promoted, why didn't they do it back last season? It would have made more sense when there was only 8, 9, 10 games left before the season we've just had that only played 8 or 9 games. I know the people are now are owners and chair people of clubs, and I owned Thamesmead Town years and years ago, and if it would be me, I'd remortgage my house to fight this one. I think I feel sorry now for them clubs that have gone through all that and not been promoted 2 years ago.
Simon, how would you feel as a owner chairman with that sort of news?
Okay, I mean, I take on board what Keith's saying. For me, I'm trying to look at the balanced argument here. Obviously, it's an opinion, but there will be certain leagues where teams have consistently maybe been the top 2 in that division. So you look at the likes of Essex Senior, the likes of Walthamstow and Hashtag, that I believe would be them sort of teams that would step up to step 4. I think the issues are that last season was null and void, and obviously this season's curtailed. So with the vote we've had with the season in our league, did they know it was going to happen because curtail was an option? The positives are obviously it could promote clubs that have that facility, that want to grow, that have a great following. The negative side, it could put clubs into a position they don't want to be in. So I don't think it's mandatory that they don't have to go up. But then you've got, as Keith said, the likes of Morden and Triptree last year. I mean, if it's points per game, it's weighted points as well. So what does that mean? So if your season was curtailed after 8 games this year, who do you play in them 8 games? Was it? It's hard to describe. But is it teams at the lower potential of that division, so that they're weighted harder because you could have had 8 great games and got some excellent points per game there? So I think it's going to be there'll be people it's going to work for. There's going to be people it's going to be against, and it's not going away tonight. Certainly, I mean, looking at Twitter now, there's a lot of comments on there. Is it legal? Questions, but obviously as a club we're ambitious. But so yeah, it's going to be tough. I think
what makes it worse, Simon, is that we had the 3 chairman and vice chairman of the Trident Leagues on 4 weeks ago, Dave, maybe 5, and this word curtailed was put in place. What they thought was that, say next year doesn't go ahead, then they could use this year's and last 8 games. And they went, no, that isn't the case. Curtail does mean null and void. It is just another wording. And he said that live on TV, Dave, didn't he? And so did the league. So as much as, like I said, I do see both sides and the weighted part of it, it just, for me, the best idea, if this restructuring should have happened 2 years ago, they should have took it, if they were going to do it, for the season that played nearly 70% of the season out, not 8 games that have just been done, last year. And it's I feel now it's the minority, Dave, that should have got promoted that won't get promoted.
I mean, I've just seen some of the comments under Ollie Bayliss, because that's normally where you can find most of the comments under Ollie. Since people are putting here, you surely cannot reinstate results from a season that was null and void. Clubs appealed that decision at the time and were unsuccessful. Other people have asked. One person's asked, "What's this mean for Lewis men's team?" And someone said, well, nothing, because it's only steps 4 to 6. So again, that sort of brings it in. Well, hang on a minute. If you can promote teams from steps 4 into steps 3, etc., what happens then to the teams in step 3 that could have got promotion?
Well,
where does that put them?
What does Lewis men's team though? They weren't promoted. I don't get that. But no one can go to step 3 though, can they? It stops. And this is what I mean. No one can go to step 2.
So what I'm saying is step 4 then. So what teams like that are in step 4, if you can get teams from step 5 going to step 4, why can't you then, why do the teams like Morden that not say, well, why if that can steps 5 and go into steps 4, why can't steps 4 go into steps 3?
Do you know what's going to make a big argument? And I'll ask Pamela and Simon this one as well, because obviously, you could say new clubs, but say you was a team in step 4, say step 5, step 5, and teams are getting promoted from your league into step 4, but haven't won the league. Doesn't matter where they've been, but you're just amongst it. Would you not feel aggrieved that you've maybe at a certain time as well had to pay for your ground grading, which is a lot of money? Okay, I know there's some funding, but you've had to pay for that money. This team haven't won anything, not been close to winning. It's only been 8 games, and getting promoted and not your club. How would you both feel?
Do you want to go first, Pamela, or?
I'll let you go first, Simon. It's fine.
Well, for me, I mean, it's a great question, Keith. I think you've got to do it over the 2 seasons, but if there's consistencies there and the team are week in, week out, I think teams know who's that better side in that league, and if they've done it over 2 seasons, but yeah, if we're in the mix, I mean, yeah, it's a tough one, because you'd argue that you can have a great run. There's teams that've got out of relegation, haven't they, in the past, with sort of 6, 7 games to go. So
let's ask you. Sorry, I'm going to throw in another question, because you say it's over 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The season before, like, your team finished 7th.
Yeah.
And if I'm a chairman of that league, thinking going into the season we just had, I'm trying to be, I'd say, businessman-like, thinking, right, the season's not going to finish this year, so I'm not going to spend my money putting it into the wage bill.
Yeah.
So the teams at the top of after 8 games, why should that come into it?
I mean, what did they do the year before step 4? Was it 20 games they completed? So I mean, if they're clear after 20 games, that would be an argument, I would say. 20 games plus 8, if they would have won it on 28. It's a hard one, because obviously we could only be a couple of points out and you could say you're gutted. But if you are that league thriving to go up and have really been top of the league after 20 games last season and been top of the league this year after 8 games, you could argue that they should go up. The positive side means that you could be, if you are a chairman in that league and you don't go up, if that team has gone up, gives you a chance to win next season as well, though. So your biggest rivals now out the league. But I think it's a case of making sure there's a consistent amount of games you're judging on. And I think the key will be this weighting, because you might not have played the top 2 this year yet. You might have played that game to not play the top 2 that would go up.
Well, someone's put on here, I mean, Ollie's just put on here before Pamela answers. This is breaking. The FA Alliance and Leagues committees have recommended that the non-league restructure takes place. Under the proposal, which requires FA Council approval, 110 clubs at step 5 to 7 will be upwardly moved. Results from the 1920 and 2021 seasons will be used to rank the teams.
Yeah.
Does it not get worse?
Do you know what? Some clubs could use my managerial career still then.
Well, 2 seasons ago, Keith, and if it counts, it's on your promotional CV,
Yeah. That's what I mean. I was outside the playoffs by 1 point.
Pamela, what was your taking on it?
So I thought it was a really good question as well. To me, if I was a club that was waiting for promotion and I found out that somebody else had got it, I'd be asking questions. Why? What did you use to get that end result? Because you've got to look at everything as a whole picture, and I understand that for all clubs, but you've also got to look at what they're doing now. Where are they now? What have they got? How have they funded all the rest of it? Can they afford to go up? Because COVID has affected a lot of people and a lot of clubs financially, but you've got to be able to financially back that to move up as well, because you're going to need better players. You're going to need more sales and everything to carry it up. I would be a little bit upset, but I would then go out that season and show them what I've got.
Okay, and say, so I'll ask you this question now, or all 3 of you as well, because Ian's involved in this. So what do you do now when the season starts in August? Do you throw all your money at it early doors before Christmas in case this happens again? So you could end up your club could be in financial dire straits after Christmas, but if it doesn't finish the season, you could get promoted. Have the FA put clubs now in a financial dilemma or crisis where this could happen?
This is where I think clubs have got to be sensible. They've got to be clever in what they do, because we don't know what the future is, and we don't know how well COVID is controlled. What we do know is what we control ourselves. So you can only afford what you've got. So personally, me, I wouldn't want to throw everything in the first half, because you don't know what's going to happen, because you could go in, throw all your money in, and then you've got nothing for later on in the season when all your injuries start coming through, where your extra games have been. Where do you then go? So you've got to plan it carefully.
Yeah, 100%. So that goes back to my first point about last season. Was it fair? And adding last season's results in, because someone as sensible as Pamela wants her club to go through the whole year and not picked up them points.
Yeah, that's where it's obviously they've got to do with the gradings as well. They're going to be looking at everyone's grounds and things like that off the pitch, which is great, because you can't move up without the rest of it. You might be doing amazing on the pitch, but are you able to back that up with off the pitch? I would like them to really look at everything, every application individually, on what does go up. Can they do it? Do they deserve to go up? But I always look at the positives, and I always go out and I always say, do you know what? Fine, you want them to go up, not us? So be it. It's not our time yet. It will be our time, and we will come up.
I think there's going to be a lot of clubs, and I agree at step 6 and 7. I agree, but the step 5 to 4, Dave, and I think I think the biggest issue with the clubs at step 4 and 3, the ones it's not going to affect, like moving up, but should have got moved up. And like I said, I'm going to go back to Worthing, Cray Wanderers, Malden and Tiptree. We can go Vauxhall Motor. You know, it is absolutely huge. That have already spent all that money on their ground grading to go up even more, which is double more than what the teams below have spent.
But also, as well, I suppose on the flip side of it as well, you could have a team. I'm not going to mention teams, but there's certain teams maybe in the Essex League and the Scaffold League or whatever that might have, shall we say, quite a bit of money and a really sort of big backing that get put into step 4. You know, and they haven't been promoted as such. They've just been realistically voted in. I mean, realistically, and it's the way you could really put it, voted into the step above. They could go in next season, romp the league and go into step 3 above the teams over the last 2 years that deserve to go up.
I get that, David, but I don't think it's the club's fault, is it, ultimately? Is it? I mean, if these teams that do go up, they just want to win football matches. And if the points per game means that they go up, it's not the club's fault. I mean, there'll be clubs that will go up and they'll probably get some, I don't know, wouldn't be from me, but they'll get some backlash. But they haven't done even long enough and turn it over and try and win a football match.
No, you're 100% right, Simon. No, I don't think anything would blame any. Listen, you know, managers will say, listen, I'll take whatever I can get, and rightly so. And clubs, I 100% agree that I don't think, but the FA are putting them clubs in that situation.
Agreed. Agreed.
Them clubs to get that backlash from people. You know, we're already talking about the negative response on social media already, and now they're just loading a gun to get fired at. They're going to go, oh, done, or what a load of, or whatever. Or they've been promoted, they shouldn't be, and it's not their fault. They've spent untold money to get their ground up and running. You know, Hertford have spent untold money to get their ground in a nice position, and they're going to get a load of people going, you know, we shouldn't have got you. Yeah, it's not fair. And the FA do this all the time. They just pass the buck.
They do, and that's the thing. Clubs do get the forefront. They get the blames. They get pointed at straight away. And those people that do the pointing, they've got to realise it's out of our hands. You know, we didn't make these decisions. It was taken out of our hands. They decided it. We've just got to roll with what we've got and do our best with what we have. And those ones that point the finger, they've just got to realise it.
Do you know, Dave, just change it, or not changing it, but I think Pamela said it as well. How about these clubs that didn't think they were going to get promoted, that now we're sitting, you know, we're in April, so you can say got a bit of time, but financially haven't budgeted it maybe to go forward that might get promoted, and then they don't have to take promotion. But how can you say to your manager, and we got one on the show, well, we haven't budgeted you going up, but we're not gonna let you go up? How would you feel with that?
I'd be very frustrated, to be fair. I mean, one thing's for sure, and good evening, everyone. First opportunity to speak. I'm glad I'm not involved in football politics anymore, that's for sure. Listen to you guys. You know, I was a little bit out of the loop because I wasn't involved at the end of last season and the beginning of this season. So the lockdown didn't affect me as much as you fellas and a lot of other people in non-league world. But no, from a manager's perspective, I can only speak from where I'm coming from. Let's just win games. Every game in front of me, I'm just going to win it. No, we intend to win it. Where if an opportunity comes up for us to be promoted, we're going to accept it. I think, you know, I would say to everyone, can we go there? Because we want to, you know, we've got ambition and we want to go forward. But in terms of, I think it's not always about money on the pitch. Certainly money off the pitch. I've experienced this before, about 15 years ago, when Ilford got Concord won the league and we finished second, Ilford, and Concord didn't have facilities to go up at the time, so they offered it to us. We took it and grabbed it with both hands, and then we went up and we won the league double, cup double that year at Ilford 2005. So I've experienced it before, and going through the back door to get where you go up the pyramid. So yeah, it must be frustrating for you guys, especially the chairman and chairwomen and stuff. But from a manager's point of view, you know, I'll let you guys get on with that and worry about that, and I'll just, you know, whatever's in front of me, I'll go and do it, you know.
Well, one of the other things as well, someone's just put on here, what happens if these teams have actually pumped their money into players and getting the players in, and then it's all been, you know, null and void again? So they've used their money to get promoted, but haven't used their money to get their facilities up to scratch, because they thought that they weren't going to, because it's all been null and void. They haven't done that. So how does that then settle with them? They could go up and then be put straight back down again. As such,
you think they'll soften the transition for the facilities if they've got facilities in? Because I'm reading through the paperwork and all the descriptions. There's no real mention of facilities in any great detail. So do you think they would give people a window or another season?
See, Simon, knowing the FA, they won't. You've got to have the ground grading to go up. And that is the thing. And when you get to this is what upsets me. When you get to step 4 or 5, you've got to have the ground grading to go up the league above before you even start that league. So, and it kicks in again. And this is the wrong thing. But David, I'll ask you, I'll turn it around, right? And I'll mention one club in particular is Cray Wanderers, okay? And I was there yesterday with the kids. Now, obviously, you had them on the show last week, Tony and Vinesy, that obviously have left their job at Cray Wanderers, that were sitting second in the league after 2 years. Now, if this restructuring and they could have gone up, would they still be with Cray? And would Cray still be great going into step 2? That is the big thing, right? Now they're not, because what's happened, they're not at Cray anymore. Cray obviously, all right, got a new manager, fair play. But, you know, going back, if this would have happened 6 weeks ago, that scenario wouldn't have come up.
I do know that there's a team in the Div 1 North Isthmian League, and already they're told their players are cutting the budget by half. When I played or managed, there was always a budget at the start of the season, as we all know, and to pump the money in to get where you want to go. If you weren't there by Christmas, the budget would be cut in half anyway. And that's something as a manager you just have to deal with at times, you know. So it happened to me at Redbridge, it happened to me at Ilford. You know, if you ain't in the top 2, for example, in the running for promotion, and the money gets cut. In fact, it's always happened. So in terms of what's happening there like that, I mean, for someone who's put their own money in, like Simon has, my chairman, Dumo's chairman, and you know, it must be fraught with danger. So I'd say, worried.
See, I've got to say that's not a job I'll take as a manager, because I want to know that. No. I know about Redbridge and that, but I'd want to know that the budget's set for the whole year, no matter what.
They tell you that, mate. They tell you that, but
Wouldn't matter.
you know, I know.
Wouldn't
But
matter. I
then,
want
then you've got your
guarantees. I'm a
principal.
little bit different.
Then your principal is like, well, do I walk away halfway through the season and take the boys with me, or let the boys down? And you know, you put a lot of work into the season, stuff like that. You know, you've been
No, I
misled.
get that. No, listen,
You've
I
been
get
misled.
it. But, and you know yourself, I've gone to clubs that done exactly the same, and there's a couple of clubs that are renowned for it. And you'd go to the players, why do you go back there?
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
you've had your money, you've gone back. But you know, maybe I've been doing it too long. But I'm you know, my budget's always been nothing anyway. So what's the point? It always stays nothing.
But so, of course, on the funny side as well, Alan, what that could mean, mate, is that you go buy a coach before Christmas and then push bike after.
The second one. The second one.
Get a few tandems going. Yeah, get a few tandems. Are we going to talk about Coach Gate later?
We are.
Yeah, we're going to go back on to normal.
And we've lost Pamela, but hopefully she'll be back in a minute. So, but we've lost her for the minute, but she'll bounce back.
Do you think anyone will refuse the promotion, gents?
Yeah, I think there'll be a couple of clubs, Simon, that maybe, like you said, can't afford it.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a couple of clubs also with the backlash. But then also, I think there'll be so many clubs that, you know, as you rightly say, it's nothing to do with them, and rightly so, should have got maybe promoted before. But I just think the backlash from the other clubs would be too big.
I think anyone grand show, I want to agree their rent pretty quickly if they're going up another step.
Yeah. Do you know, I think step 2 could have a major say in this. After what's happened to their leagues, and there's some powerhouses there. I think they could all go legal that will poo-poo all this. I think it's too big for the FA. I think it's too big because where you used to have the promotion and that, and then they moved you over leagues, that normally took all summer when people appealed going, hold on, they've gone up because of points, but like of reprieves and all that. I think this will be even longer. I really do. But, you know, and I think you made a brilliant point earlier. It's not the club's fault. No club's fault. And I think that's what the FA and people need to listen. Anyone's got any grafts, fire it at the FA. They need more grief than what they get.
Yeah.
Right.
Very much. Very much.
And it's a weird thing, though, isn't it? I mean, it'll be very interesting to see as well if they do. It all goes through restructure, etc., and who goes where. Because all of a sudden, then of course, the Isthmian League could lose quite a few clubs, and we could get new clubs coming in from all over the shot. And you think you've actually got, you know, some of the managers and chairmen might then have to, if they've already had a conversation, you know, and I've seen on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, people that know what their budgets are and they're getting players in, etc. So they could be then sitting down, you know, say for instance, Alan's had a conversation with Simon already, and they were in the Isthmian North, say, last season. Then all of a sudden, with all these other teams coming in from all over the shop, you could then be in the Southern Central or something.
That's not going to happen though, Dave. It goes back to when the Eastermen brought in their South. It's already been sort of understood. Certain teams are only going to come in in the northern section. So there's going to be a couple of teams from the south will go in and move across. But this was done 2 years ago, that they were bringing a team to void the gap that the Easterman League was always going to have 3 teams at step 4. Then either the north or south were going to have 3, or the north were going to have 3 teams at the north and south. The south have already got it. So that's what was making the perfect pyramid. So all the teams are going to come from step 5 are going to mainly fill from that side of the country. And that's what it'll be. Step 6 and 7 and 5 to go up to the new 5 divisions as it comes down will be different. That'll be fed from all over the country. But most of them, there will be some tweaking. And I know there's even like in the Skeffel League, maybe 2 or 3 sides might come up now. But they had to fill 20 teams. Don't forget they've lost, I think, 4 or 5 because teams have gone out of business as well. So they had to fill them as well. So it is going to be predominantly from one side of the country anyway. But, you aren't going to get Harlow getting moved to Northern, whatever it is, step 4. Even though you mostly win more games.
Well, that'd be a nice coach trip, wouldn't it?
Edit.
4 hours, David. 4 hours.
Is Pamela coming back or is she bored with us?
I don't know. I'm trying to get her back. So you carry on, mate, and I'll try and get hold of Pamela, see if we can get her to come back.
Well, obviously, let's go back to what the show was about before breaking news. Gents, obviously, you know, we're starting up obviously Dave said a new team. So just tell us a bit about your club, and obviously we're going to know about the managers. But Simon, just tell us about how it's come about and all the work you've put in.
Yeah, sure. Got the non-league bug last year, to be honest, gents. As a business, we're a construction recruitment business, always heavily sort of sponsoring sports, been involved rugby clubs and golfers. But got the non-league buzz sort of last year, just being one of the sponsors from Stowe. Met the guys there, met Ryan there, like how they did, what they did there, and then kept in touch with those guys. And once they start a football club, got the real bug, you know. Lived in Dunmo for a number of years. Dunmo's got a big youth setup, but it hasn't got a real, I would say, a team. Without trying to offend anyone, it hasn't got a team that can really, I believe, go on as a real good senior club that can be embraced. It's such a great town, an expanding town. So I've got Ryan involved to help me as a consultant. We got a lot of investment, got a local business involved, got the community involved. Started ground share at Braintree Town. And it was all 9 months ago. So literally after a couple of conversations, we've now got an established first team, established reserves, and we've got at the wheel now, really. Nicky and Che moved on to Braintree. Ryan went to Braintree after helping me set it up. And it's an ambitious project, you know. Good board in the background, some great people, representation from the club, from the fans, from the community. And we want to do things right and professional. And get that on board's the next step, really.
So, where are you going to enter the league next year?
Where? So we're still in the Essex Summer Border League. We started there, and yeah, that's curtailed. So we have a cup competition now. So 4 rounds. I think we're in round 2 now. We played one round. We played round 2, so we got by in round 1. So I think there's 4 rounds left of that, and then it's working in plans, working with Alan and Kevin in the management team, and Dan and Jordan to get the plans right to start work now. We're starting work now for next season as well. But ultimately, we've got a cup competition we want to be successful in.
So, what made you sort of, obviously, apart from getting the job, the excitement of joining a side like that with obviously your background?
I mean, Simon's explained it beautifully. You know, the ambition that the club's got. You can see Simon and his enthusiasm and drive and to get involved with the game. It epitomised it on Saturday when we got the coach. You know, we had the option of going there, and we're trying to do things right. We're trying to be as professional as we possibly can be. And, you know, with the drive and the ambition that the Simon and the board has got. I've got a lot of friends who live in Dunmo. It's a lovely place. And it's only going to get bigger, and it's a project that was sold to me. It didn't need much selling to me because the announcement of the club last summer, the way they've come on, got everyone's interest, including mine. And when I became available in November, they offered me the position, and it was a no-brainer to accept straight away. The foundation is there to build to be a good club. There's a lot of let's say poppycock. Spoken by chairmen, should we say that? Spoken by chairmen, or a load of rubbish by some people, and spout promises like we've just spoken about. But with Simon, he's been true to his word, and you know, we're a good set of lads. We we're all new. I'm new to them, they're new to me, and we're new to each other. And but no, it was a great opportunity that I wasn't going to turn down. No way.
So obviously, go on, Dave.
I was just going to say, so before we get asked if it's so, everybody wants to know, what was it all about? So what was Coachgate all about?
Okay, so Coachgate, yeah, well, there's a number of reasons why we got a coach. The overriding thing is we want to do things as most professional as we can as a club, right the way through the club, you know, with the people involved, the coaches, the board, the committee. We've had lockdown as well, so the idea of extra team bonding. Alan joined us in November, watched one game and played one friendly. So we've got a squad there that needs to know Alan and Kevin. So there's that extra camaraderie, that extra team bonding. There's no change rooms as well, you know. So we're going to Frinton on the coast. It's a good hour and a quarter away. So an element of team bonding, professionalism, getting change together, being together, and another hour for Alan to go through tactics, get to bond with the team. I think I don't think I've missed anything. Alan, anything else?
It was exactly that, and that's why I've never looked. No disrespect to anyone that clubs at step 7, but what Simon's just said is doing exactly what we are doing. We've got a step 2, step 1, step 2 mentality at the club, and that's what we're going to drive forward. So, no, I think we're all good, and getting the coach.
I'm out the loop with Coach Gate. Did you get a bit of grief on social media? We turned up to a step 7 in a game coach.
Yeah, so we did a little video of the players getting off, shaking Alan's hand. We've got a full-time media person. Sorry.
What for your own club?
Yeah, we did a video of the team coming off the bus, and it's got 12,000 views in literally a few hours, and there's a lot of negative comments and positive comments as well. We're embracing it. We don't bite at it, but it wasn't an arrogance. It was just to show, look, we're trying to grow this club. We can't have fans in because we play at Braintree. It's an elite stadium, so we can't do anything till the 12th. So we have to maximise our away games. And we're doing live Periscope, live Twitter, and live commentary because we're trying to grow this brand. 40,000, 50,000 people living in Dunmow. Our business plan is quite simple next season to go and get 2% through the door. I mean, that's sort of north 600 people, and we'll be higher than that, and we will do it. But the coach was all about, the video was put on just to show people that was all. It wasn't meant to be anything arrogant. It's only professionalism, and it's probably the best investment we've made from the best PR stunt we've ever, not stunt, but the best piece of PR we've ever done, really. From getting off a coach to winning the game to changing on it has got me on this tonight, and also got us a number of views.
Can I jump on that as well?
Yeah,
Can I jump on that as well?
Yeah.
When I went into the National League a couple of years ago, and it reawakened so many things that you lose when you go into non-league, and the lower levels you go as a player or as a manager, as we all know, you kind of get used to them levels. When I went back into the National League, and you see the Salfords and the Halifaxes and the Chesterfields and the professionalism that the players have got, the way the club hold themselves and they do things right, that is what Simon's going to bring into Dunmow. And that was the coach and me shaking the players as they get their hands off. I think shaking the boys' hands as they get off the coach. I think I've done it all my life, over 400 games. So 200 games away from home. Always shake my players' hands, coach. Get it wrong again. Always shake the players' hands as they get off the coach. It's a bit of encouragement, look them in the eyes, and make sure they're ready for the game. There was no PR stunt. It was just us trying to do the right thing. And like Simon said, I've received some excellent comments from people as well in the game, and well respected within the game to say, yeah, you've done the right thing. So yeah, that's all.
It makes perfect sense to me as a manager. I've done it all, and I think that a coach thing, obviously, if a club can afford it, it does. And to get and I say this to Pamela, to get a club moving forward, you need togetherness. You need to be a family, and I think that, and the only advice I can give a committee, being involved one myself as well, is that the players and the managerial need to gel with the committee more than what the players and the managers do. Because once you've got an all-in-one like that, the committee will understand what the manager's doing, the chairman will understand what the committee are doing, and it's a huge thing. It's a massive thing.
As you know, Keith, I've said to Simon, the most important relationship in a football club is between the chairman and the manager. You've got to get that right. You've got to have the respect and that understanding. You're both singing from the same hymn sheet, and then you've got obviously the committee, like you say, and everyone's got to be bought in on the idea of what we're going, what we're trying to achieve. And you're absolutely right what you're saying.
Do you know the thing about it is, Alan, and Pamela, you might get this. What I found is, as the years that I managed it, when you was on the coach, the committee people actually felt part of your team. Part of your team. They actually, you could think they were actually going to play themselves. They were coming to the game. They were ready for the game. And I think that's huge. Listen, there is an expense, and don't get me wrong, and a lot of clubs can't afford that expense, which is fine. But I thought it was the best things we ever done was getting on the coach. Once you've won, it's you might as well stick a disco ball in the back of the coach. It's the best feeling in the world. But to bond the club and people like Pamela, Simon, and all that putting their life into these clubs and their passion, they deserve to feel part of that team spirit. And it's so hard to explain to an outsider what that team spirit is and part of the club. And if you can do that at any level, it's magic. Even as you can go to people that are listening now, Sunday morning when they get to a cup final, they normally get a coach.
Yeah.
And they're part of it. They wear a shirt and tie. They're normally they're Vicky's Biscuit FC. Some of them aren't there. Some of them are like Arsenal FC because they're all step 3 players. But it's a massive buzz. It's a massive thing. And to do that, I think is brilliant. And I think it shows the professionalism of the club. It also will show the players that want to maybe come to your club. Brilliant. Next best thing, do what I did. Get a mascot. They can meet the Queen.
Well, you say that though, Keith. I mean, we had a situation. We had a situation with Harlow when we went to play Bath, and it was probably the best I've had in non-league football. When we travelled down there on the coach from Harlow all the way down to Bath, and had a great time on the coach there. And you said about the Sunday League stuff. We took a rep side for youth football, and we went to a final, and we were playing one of the local leagues in the final at Sawbridgeworth, and we went there. They'd beaten us in the round robin event. We got them in the final, and we turned up, and I made sure that every single one of them was wearing a shirt, tie. We got them blazers. They all came off, the kids, and these kids were only like 12, say like that, but they all came off with their shirts, ties, the whole lot on. Made them feel really special. Came off the coach, and the other team came off, and as the other team came round the corner, they embedded their coach into the hillside, and all that to get off quite a bit away from the actual ground. And when they came off the ground, they were wearing soaking wet training tops that the bloke had forgot to put in the air the night before. And they came out, and we ended up knocking them over 4-0. And it was a completely different thing, because my coach said to me, he said, "You know what, Dave, we've won this." I said, "What do you mean we've won it?" He said, "We won it." He said, look at our boys. Look at them walking on air. He said, as they walk into the change, look at them. He said, they're soaking wet. They don't. They're not interested. And you said it makes so much difference when especially for like a smaller side to get on a coach and go to a final.
You know what we've done, Dave? When we was at Thamesmead, like we was in the Ryman Prem, so a step 3 club, but we was a very, very small town and mostly the smallest club that ever got to that level. I used to get a coach meet us at a place called Hall Place, where anyone local will know it's a massive public park, huge car park where you can have afternoon teas or whatever in the middle of Bexley Heath. So it wasn't even in Thamesmead, big town centre. We met in this car park where I'd say 50 junior teams all trained there that Saturday morning. And we always used to meet with a gigantic coach. All the lads used to turn up, all done up, getting on every single Saturday. And all the young kids and that used to go, wow, that's what I want to do. So as we went through the years, everyone wanted to come and play for that football club as a youngster. It worked massively. It worked hugely.
And it does, I mean, the end of the day, whatever level of football you're in, we all love the game so much. And we try to emulate being another manager, or, what they do, and they try to way to do things so professionally. And and like you say, you're going back to what you said there, Keith. I remember at Ilford, we used to have 4 or 5 old boys. It was their day out, then they'll be done up with their tie pins and their double cuffs, shirts and stuff. And it was marvellous. And we're going to get there one day. But on Saturday, we had a good representation on the coach of committees and stuff and members. And we had a right good laugh on the way home. And it's if people who have been criticising us and stuff like that, if they, they haven't been involved in the football at a decent level to understand that's the norm, really.
Well, question for you. I mean, I've sent the tweet to Keith and to Pamela, so you can see it if you have a look on Twitter. I've actually sent it to both here, the actual video. But 10,700 of what have actually watched it so far. But my question to you, coming off the coach, does the guy not wearing the actual tracksuit, has he got a club fine?
Yes, yeah.
But if you actually see, Tommy, I'm 6 foot, and he's almost 7 foot, big Tony, and trying to find him a tracksuit's almost impossible.
I've got to be honest though, Dave. I've just watched that clip, and now I am agreeing with some people. You have took the mickey. It looks like you've only got a 5-a-side team. There's only 4 people I've got off the coach.
And one of them's the ball fella's Dan Solly, the goalkeeper coach.
So Pamela, obviously you just missed out because you cut out, we asked obviously the gents about obviously Domino and what they've done. Tell us a little about your club and how obviously one you got involved and obviously your club itself.
Okay, so we're Hertford United, brand new club. Gordon first came to me a little while ago. Well, I say a little while ago, it's about a year, and said, Pamela, I've got something for you. And I was like, oh no. Okay, what is this?
That's how we all react.
It's Gordon. So
is it 9 o'clock yet?
And I was like, okay. And he goes, well, I want you to be a part of something. And I said, good. What have you got? What are you thinking? Tell me. So he goes, I want you to be my chair. I'm going to start a club up. We are going to start a club and we're going to be called Hertford. And I said, okay, sounds good. He didn't give me an option. He told me what I was going to be because he said, I believe in you, everything you're about, off the pitch. He goes, I don't know anyone like it. And I said, wow, okay, no problem. Can I think about it? No. So I was like, no problem. So we went through literally everything from the logo to what we're going to be called. And one thing I really wanted was to be United. So I wanted that in the title. So that's where we got Hertford United from.
Well, you couldn't be Town, could you?
No, I wouldn't want to be Town. I want to be United. The reason why is because for me, that word means everyone's together. Everyone's working together. Everyone matters. Everyone has a value. Everyone has a worth, and that's one thing I really wanted to pull through. And Gordon thinks exactly the same as me on it all. So, which is where we bounce off brilliantly with each other. So he's going to look after everything that's on the pitch to do with those players, because I don't want to get involved in that. I'm off pitch. I like doing everything that's off the pitch, making sure the facilities are matching up to the players. We're matching up to Gordon's requirements for him to be able to progress through. Because like I said previously, it's all good playing the game and winning your games, but if you're not doing it off the pitch, then you're not going to be able, you're going to stop your players progressing, your club progressing. So I said to him, I want to make sure that everything we do off pitch is ready for you. I want to be ahead of what you need, so that when you go to there and you've progressed and you win your games, we're ready for you, which he loves. So I was like, fantastic. So we're going to start entering into right at the bottom. We don't want to go straight up. We want to earn it on merit. We want to go through because we earned it. And I understand with this new thing that's got thrown in, and it throws a lot of clubs out which have earned it. So we're going to go in. We're going to go where we deserve to be, which is step 6, step 7, depending on what the FA require. So we're just going to join into the Heart Senior County League.
What facility have you got at the moment, Pamela?
So we're going to be ground sharing with St Margaret's Spree. So for the forthcoming season, so we're going to ground share with them, which we could go and look for our own grounds and everything else. But with everything going on with COVID, with everyone with financial difficulties, for me and Gordon, it made sense to ground share with someone, because it then helps support them as a club as well and helps them grow. And put something back to another club, because we have lost teams, we have lost clubs. And so we're going to ground share, which I'm really proud of. And we've picked a nice club that we feel that we can help towards and help them grow, and have a good relationship with them. So we're going to alternate our fixtures all around them. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting and something to watch for.
Tell us a little bit about your background and the club itself. Obviously, Gordon ain't just knocked on your door, like stuck a paper through your door and gone, Pamela, do you fancy like starting a football team? Tell us obviously about the actual club itself.
So how do you mean? What aspect?
Well, obviously community, youth, you must have started somewhere. You haven't obviously, someone's just knocked on your door and said, do you fancy starting a first team in Hertford and let's go and ground share there?
Yeah, no. So me and Gordon, we have noticed, well, we both have, because I've come from a lot of the youth background, and my knowledge in the last 4 years is now coming into adults. And one thing I've noticed with a lot of the youth and the youngsters is they get signed by academies, then they lose their contracts, and then they stop football. Or they're late developers and they actually don't develop until like 17, 18. Maybe it's just because they're just having fun and it's not taken seriously enough, and then all of a sudden they got that, oh no, I do want to be a footballer of some sort. So they got missed off the radar. So our main thing is literally to give those players, don't give up. There is still another pathway. You might not have gone through academy stage and you've gone straight through that route. There is another way, work at it. You can get there. Vardy's done it. He's proved it, that you can go through the steps. So we want to go in with the youngsters. We want to give those youngsters that have missed out on opportunities where we believe they have what it takes and give them that chance. So we are looking at youth setup, not to like overtake anybody, but to have that relationship with a youth setup so that when they get to their 17s, 18s, there is a pathway for them. There is a door that's open and will give you an opportunity for your future, because it's so missed. And there's a lot of talent out there at 17, 18, 19, 20 that should not stop football. Just because you lost your contract, just because you got left out, or just because your team stopped at 17s and 18s and they don't go any further, we're going to provide that.
And of course, I see, with Gordon as well, he's got other people on board as well. Every day I see a new picture come up. So he's getting people in all the time.
Yes, he is. Yeah, we're picking the right people. We want people that are motivated. We want to be a family. It's our biggest key thing. Youth is key, because without the youth, you don't have a first team. That's your feeder. That's the main thing. And everything we do has got to be united. We want to be a family. We want to make everyone feel valued, that everyone has an opportunity. They have a worth, they have a purpose, and they can add value to a club. Your volunteers, they are gold mines. They are amazing people. And without them, you will struggle as a club if you don't have your volunteers. They've got to be appreciated. You've got to involve them, with your players. You've mentioned it earlier, going on the bus, having the youth, why not? You've got to show them that this is your future, inspire them to be a player. And this is what I'm proud of your club. So everyone we're picking is literally has the same thoughts as us and wants to add values. It's all about good people, good values, and what have you. We're going places. It's exciting.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's like I said, I'm going to be focusing on everything off the pitch. I trust Gordon completely, 100%. I have his back on anything that he needs, as he has mine. I trust him with the players. If he asks my opinion, I'll give him my opinion, just like I will for anything that's going off internally. There's got to be that relationship between the chairman and the first team manager, because without it, I think clubs struggle. And that's where one thing, a key area that I found, that you've got to have that relationship. You've got to have that trust, and you've got to make them feel appreciated, that everything they want and everything they need is valued, and it's worth something. And that goes with all our key people that we're getting in, our photographers, to programs, to even if it's a certain team and under our 12s or 13s going around and helping out on pitch days, collecting the balls. Make them feel like they're valued, so that they'll continuously come through to you.
Back at my old club, Ilford, we got the under 7s and 8s and their Ilford kits and stuff like that, and they'd come out and warm up on the pitch and had leaders out, mascots who would choose and stuff like that, and it just inspired them. I mean, when I was a youngster, and I didn't make no grade at Millwall when I was at the time, I was only no good, but I went on to Enfield and played for Enfield when he was in the conference, and he won it, I think, in '88, something like that. But I was a 15, 16, 17-year-old coming up and seeing the players, like say, getting on the coaches with their tracksuits and looking really, really good. It does inspire you so much. And I was desperate to play for that first team. Unfortunately, didn't. But nonetheless, it's for youngsters, and I think it's a brilliant what you're doing to give them a pathway to get back into the game, because there's so many lost souls out there.
Yeah, but there's always a little diamond out there that's just got missed, and it's finding them and telling them, don't give up, you can still have a dream, and providing that opportunity. But you've got to inspire those youngsters, and the only way to inspire them and make them want to be involved is getting them involved with the first team, so they feel like, oh wow, look at him, I've just seen that player, I want to be him, and then getting that player to come over and recognise that, even if it's a manager or it's a coach, if someone's looking at you, they're looking to be like you. So
I know with Harlow, I mean, me and the present CEO at Harlow, Tim Saul there, we set up the youth at Harlow when they didn't have any. We set it up, and I still remember one of the first games that the kids were training before the game, and then the first team came out and played a game, etc. The game had finished, and some of the youth players were still there. And as the players came off the pitch, they were actually asking for the autographs of the first team.
Wow!
And I still remember Darren Blewett actually he was the captain at the time. And one young lad came up to him, ran up to him, a big smile on his face, and said, "Look, can I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph?" And gave him his boots to sign. And Darren Blewett sort of looked at him and went, "Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this or not." Do you know what I mean? And walked up to his dad and said, "Look, is this okay?" And he said, "Yeah, of course it is," like that. But because the first team players weren't used to that sort of reaction from the kids, do you know what I mean? They had to go up there and sort of, but he had that connection then between the first team and the kids. We've had a couple of messages come in. One's quite funny, so I'll leave that one till last. But we've had another one come in from Bill Clark. It's a nice show this evening. It's what grassroots football is all about. Every club and every player starts at grassroots level. The right club and coaches will improve players to climb the ladder. And then there's been a message for Alan, which I think this is pretty good actually, because I was wondering this myself at one time. He said, "What's it like?" A question. I won't say who it's from. What's it like to have a boss in Gareth Southgate?
You know what? I feel very privileged to Gareth to have picked me. It's an honour to manage the football club, and thank you, Gareth.
That's all right.
I know exactly what you're saying.
That's it. You got
I know. Do you think he looks like Pamela? Do you think he looks like Gareth Southgate, my chairman?
What would you like me to say?
Don't get me in trouble.
Oh,
okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Go on.
Jordan Stringer's also come in and said, "Hi, Mr. Chairman, Gaffer, Keith and Dave. Hope you're all okay. These restructuring plans do seem confusing, but it's intriguing bombshell but they could be, I'm trying to read this out, with that, but yay, great to be involved with Dunmo. Thanks for the opportunity, guys."
Yeah, that's good. Dave, just going back to what I cut in. I heard everything you said on my earphones, but for some funny reason, I had a power cut that just cut the thing off.
No, one of my players just tried to call me when he should be watching.
Yeah,
that's another fine.
Good. Yeah, at them. Yeah. We had we got a few fines for the club last week. Just going back to the young kids, what we done at Tensley, which was brilliant. We used to go around the schools, and we used to offer them obviously free passes for the games. But we gave them a pre-printed player list with autographs, and we got them in there, while we were doing the warm-up, got the players out half hour before to come and sign them and all that. And the young kids around the schools loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Coming back to proper little stadium, felt massive part of it. And also the players felt quite privileged as well. They actually thought they were going to be a little bit of a celebrity for half an hour, which ain't new stuff. It was a really, really good thing to do.
Yeah.
You still there? No. Or you fell asleep?
Me? No, I was doing something. Go on, mate. You were breaking up, if I'm honest.
Well, sorry, that's the dodgy connection I've got here, maybe.
Just touching on the youth, though, you've got to have that connection. You've got to create that pathway, because without that youth, you know, no team, no club's going to have adult teams, and you've just got to have that. You've got to inspire them. You've got to show them there is a pathway, and don't give up. You know, you're going to get knocked back. So you're going to get clubs that turn around and say, no, we don't want you. Oh, we don't think you're good enough. You're getting adult life. You know, you constantly get it in adult life. People turn around and say, no, you're not good enough for us. You know, but you just got to keep going, because someone will see what you're worth, and they will give you a chance.
Pamela, the teams that don't, or the managers that don't care about the youth teams are the ones going to miss out. Harry Kane and Messi all come through some youth sort of set up somewhere along the line. They had to play for some sort of club. You know, so it's, you know, you've got to invest massively into it. Also, it saves you money, but you know, I think you want to be part of a club that obviously, you know, you feel that the whole family can be involved in as well.
Yeah, you got to feel valued, you know, and that you're appreciated. And as long as you're showing that to that youth side, the adults, your first team, your reserves, your under-23s, your under-19s, you know, they will then stay with you. So you just got to keep creating. And that's one thing that Hertford United, we want to do. So we're going out, we're going to have our first team, but we will be looking to have a reserves. We will be looking to have an under-23s, because we want to make sure that those kids are given that opportunity. And we're never going to say anybody's not good enough to us, because you might just be a late developer. You know, you might not be you might be fit enough and quick enough and everything else, but you're not mentally ready yet, because that's the other side of it with players. You know, they get so much knocking back that some of them just go through that mental break where they just think, do you know what, I need to take a break. I don't feel good enough. And you've got to then grab that confidence in those players, even within your own, in the adult world. You know, you've got to draw that confidence out of them. To say, no, you are good enough. We want you. Come and play for us.
So Pamela, just for people that are watching, tell people what you've actually had to do to set up a team to start the new season, obviously from scratch. What sort of things you've had to do outside things?
Oh, Poppy, I've got my dog in my back. Sorry.
Oh, mine's at home. It's okay. So to start up the club from scratch, it's basically, it all starts with a pen and paper, and you start off with thinking, what do you want? What do you value most? You know, what do you want to get out of the club? And then it went from, okay, now we need to get the grounds, and players, not my domain. It's Gordon's. I won't get involved unless he asks me. But it is, you start with a pen and paper, you start down with what's important to you, what's important to the club, what do you need, all the staff in, the volunteers. Volunteers are key, grounds are key. We could go out and try and find our own grounds, but no, we wanted to ground share. That was one of our main things we wanted to do, because we wanted to give back and help another club. We don't want to see another adults fold. So to also took the pressure off of us as well if we ground shared. Then it's deciding what league do we want to go into? What step do we want to go enter in? And we could go out and we can get some good players and go in at high step, but no, we want to do it on merit. So we're going to start from where we should start, which is at the beginning, and work our way up. Then it was finding the right people that value us, and everything we do, we're not going to discriminate anybody, and provide as many opportunities to anybody. So we won't I want everybody. I want everyone to come to me. We want programs. We want your volunteers, the teas, the coffees, greeting people, helping. It goes then to the kits, going to sponsorships, finding the right sponsors, because I don't want sponsors that just give you money and then that's it. I want sponsors to be involved. You know, I want them to be proud to be sponsoring Hertford United, and give more than what. Okay, you've got us a kit. That's wonderful, but what else can you give us? You know, can you provide any apprenticeships? Can you provide any pathways? Can you give any discounts to anybody? You know, that's the sort of things I look for as well in sponsors. So we're very looking at all sorts of dynamics and what we can bring.
How hard is it starting up a new club, especially in your area, I know your area well. I lived in Ware for a couple of years, where you've got Hertford Town, obviously, that have done well. You've got Ware, obviously, you've got Broxbourne, obviously Harlow ain't too far down the road, but I won't really worry about them too much. You know, you've got a lot of big clubs, you know, around your area, and you're starting up obviously another club. How hard was that?
To be honest, it is hard. It is difficult because nobody knows us, and it's obviously getting people to believe in us and trust in us in what we do, and what we want to achieve. But we're not going to run before we can walk, and that is key. And we've got to show that natural respect to all the clubs that are surrounding us, because they've been in the game a lot longer than our new club. So at the moment, it's just trying to get them to see who we are, what we are about, and getting that message across. We want to provide that pathway for that youth, and those players that have just been missed.
So,
And of course, we've
obviously, I know go on, Dave. Go on.
I was going to say, and of course, we've you know, with Gordon's, you know, he's got all these different people in his phone book and all the rest of it as well. That's
Yes.
that's certainly got to help and make life a little bit easier, maybe. You know, where he can, as you used to say, getting the kids involved. He's got like a celebrity handbook and a little black book with celebrities, a little black book with this. So I mean, it's that type of thing where, you know, that sort of side of it as well with his sort of contacts will help massively as well, won't it?
It's all about your networking, who you know as well. You know, Gordon's history, well, you know what his CV is like. It's fantastic. People so respect him completely throughout the whole footballing world. Anybody I've met who knows him just really respect him. They love him. Even just his name, people just want to run to him, which is, it just goes to show what type of manager he is. Because if your players are running to you,
I'll just say, Pamela, he's brilliant. Gordon, he's one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life, and he's a wonderful fella. He's a bloody good manager as well, and I'm so glad he's back. I'm so glad.
No, it's great to have him back in, because one of the main things that me and Gordon have realised as well is we could go to a club, another adult club, and we can get a part of them, but we'll always be under somebody. And we didn't want to be answerable to anyone. We wanted to do it our way, and we want to do things the right way. Everything's natural progressions. Everybody's shown all the respect they can possibly get. All the clubs we have been a part of do that, but we just wanted something that was ours. But no, he's just so genuine. He's so trusting. He wants the best for everyone. It doesn't matter who he meets, he will give you his time. And I just think that's a fantastic asset in him. He always sees the good, and he will always push people.
He's watching, and he's just sent a message.
Oh, is he?
He's just,
yeah, I was going to say, now tell the truth.
Oh, do you know what? He's pain in my backside. No, but honestly,
he's put on here that Fenny is a legend, by the way. So just so you know.
Yeah, no, but he is. He's. I've done an event with him before, Gordon. We did a mental health football event with celebrities, which was absolutely fantastic day. And he's just always giving. And I said to him, do you know what? You're my king. He calls me a duchess. It's my nickname with him. Right. But no, he inspires me to keep going and to keep believing in myself and realise my own worth and stuff. So, yeah, I don't think players would be a problem with us.
No. Well, I think, as you said earlier on, though, as you know, my daughter's now involved in the club as well, or will be.
Yes.
You know, so she's absolutely buzzing. So she can't wait. I'll be honest. She can't wait to get back to doing her football photography again. So she's really looking forward to that.
I remember didn't she help out at our mental health football event that we did?
She did his celeb stuff as well. Yeah.
I remember because I was like, when Gordon told me, I was like, fantastic. Why not? She's part of the family already.
The funny thing is, I said she could have picked a better picture.
You know, I never like any of my own photographs. So you always try and pick out something that's good. But no, I'm just glad she's on board. It's fantastic.
So we were talking about restructuring that earlier on. If one of your clubs was then come to by the FA and said, did you want to move up and go into step 5 or step 6 or whatever else, would you take it?
Yes.
100%.
See, this is where I'm a bit, you've got to be realistic on where you are, and you've got to be honest with yourself. So for me, at this right stage for Hertford, I would say no, purely because we're not ready for that off the pitch and on the pitch yet. We're not there.
You say that, right, but you've just said, right, and you've obviously, one, you've got the ground. Two, you've got this fabulous manager that's got a black book, that's got players for fun, that can come and play for you. So why aren't you ready?
Because we want to do it on merit. We want to show people that we are ready. We want to have that natural progression. We want to do it properly. We want to do it the right way. And we want to have people respect us for it. We just want to do it. We don't want to have any special treatment. We don't want anything. We want to do it because what we've done on the pitch and off the pitch.
I think having started the club 9 months ago ourselves, just speaking ourselves, it's obviously it's exciting, it's difficult, but I think the higher you get up the steps, and I agree that you have to earn it at 100%. But I believe that sale becomes easier the higher you get as well. You know, if you get the right team in place, you know, trying to sell some sponsorship or get people involved in the community. You know, it's one thing. I mean, now football's for us at Dunmo. You know, I know we talk about youth. I mean, we've got, I think, Alan, we've got 22 in our youth. I think the oldest player is 20. So we've really got that youth element. But for us, we sort of drew a circle around community and built out from there. And I think now's the perfect time with how the Premier League is selling itself and the dislove for the Premier League, that if we got the opportunity at the bigger steps, it opens up more cup competitions, more exposure, more revenues. And it's a great time to be in a football club, 100%.
Yeah.
Should you be saying that about? Sorry,
if you ask me the question sort of 12 months' time after one season under our belt and someone offered me step 5 and go, I'll be like, or step 4, I'll be like, because we've got that under our belt.
You might be going golden who?
No, but I would. Honestly, once I just want to get those legs out on that pitch, get us operating off the pitch properly in the right way, because you've got to make sure it's ready. We've got to make sure we're ready. So I'd rather get one season where we belong, and then once we've got it under our belts, if we then got offered, why not? Because we're then shown what we can do in our first season, which is where you will find your bumps, and it's what you do with those little bumps that you've come across.
I've got one question for Gareth in the corner. Should you been saying that about the Premier League as England manager?
Yeah. I've got to use this Gareth thing until the Euros. You know, I've got to keep his job. You know, might need the sideline.
All you need is a tie and a little waistcoat. You're sorted, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say you should have worn a waistcoat.
Yeah, got to get that waistcoat out.
It will be out for the Euros. It'll be out for the Euros.
So Simon, just obviously, you know, like you said, you're 9 months in. Didn't have a huge season last year, but now you sort of got certain things under place, and you know, tell us what are your plans for next season. Obviously, the excitement about next season, but also with what's gone on with COVID, how are you trying to plan for next season?
We want. I mean, look, we're an ambitious club. You know, I don't think COVID's going to change us, and that's not meant to come across in any way an ego for us. We want to win season on season. Is that me feeding back? Is that my problem? Sorry.
Maybe me.
But we want to go back to that promotion. You know, no one has a right to win anything, but the people who got Alan on board, the players who've got on board, we want. You know, I think everyone in our league wants to win the league, of course, but you know, our model's quite clear: back to back, keep going. You know, I like the Dorking model. You know, it's sort of 12 promotions in 18 years. You know, that's how hungry. That's the drive for me. That's everything about Dorking, whether you know the community, the expansion. I think Dunmo has a great opportunity to, and with the club, and I I want to drive this club as hard and as fast. I like to work at 300 miles an hour in my own working life. Yes, we'll embrace youth. Yes, we'll embrace the community. But ultimately, the gaffer wants to win football matches. And I need to give him the tools to make sure he can win football matches.
You mentioned Dorking, obviously, backed by a multi-millionaire. That does help quite well as well. So,
a lot of the time, I'm going back to
are you in the same bracket?
No. What I'm saying is, I'm going back into the time when everyone was putting the posts up themselves in the step sevens, you know, and moving along that journey, you know. We just want to drive this as hard and as fast as we can, but we've got to do things right. We have no divine right to anything. None of the teams do, but everything we do has got to be the best of our ability. Like if we compare this to a supermarket, you can go and get a packet of soup in 4 or 5 different supermarkets, but you might go to Waitrose because the service expectation, professional is that much more. So for us, I want to make sure everything in this club is done right, from the media to the physiotherapy to the management to the PR to the sponsors to the kit, and that will be the overarching thing: is professionalism.
Well, you mentioned professionalism, and obviously, you know, as anyone on the outside, it's not silly. The ground you're playing at, obviously, is decent. That's not cheap. That's not Paul of a week. You know, anyone in football will know how much money, sort of money you're making paying the ground share there. But for yourself, does that help attract players going to play our home games are here?
Well, I mean, but we're trying hard in the background to secure our own land. We're working very hard on that. COVID's hit us quite hard on that, the plans. But we wanted a ground share because we wanted a facility to attract players, and to match that of our ambition, to match that of our professionalism. It would help as well. A new club, or you're playing at Braintree Town, you know. We're getting fans through the door, getting the community involved. It's 10 minutes up the A120. Trying to mirror how we do things, So there's a few clubs nearby, but obviously like Takeley, Stansted, Saffron Walls a little bit further out. But Braintree is probably the biggest ground in terms of the nearest location.
Have they sorted out that car park yet?
No.
Oh, why? What's wrong with that car park?
It looks like World War II.
Put it this way: the coach parked outside to get on it.
It's like our current state of roads.
Oh dear.
I was everywhere.
No.
But I mean, it's great for the players coming in there. You know, it's a national league stadium. It's a league stadium, really. So we have a great relationship with Braintree, and it's working very well.
And that's why I joined alongside Simon, because like exactly what you said, David. You know, you do want to attract better players to the club if they're playing on a good surface, in good surroundings, training in good facilities. Then we're going to attract better players. And you know, I can't see myself standing on a park anyway with a fishing chair, so I need a dugout. So we're very lucky to be at Braintree.
With this competition you've gone into, has that helped you attract maybe players from a higher division because they want to play football?
So I didn't hear the first part of the question. Sorry.
I said, sorry, Dave, can you hear us as well?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, I can hear.
What I'm saying is, obviously, with the competition you're in at the moment, the League Cup thing, has that helped you attract players from a higher level because they want to be playing?
There's been an opportunity to attract players and dual registered players. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's been a hot topic for a number of clubs. For us, if it improves the squad and the gaffer wants that person, we'll do our best. And he knows that ultimately we're bringing someone in just to raise the bar within the squad, you know. And I think the squad wants to be successful. And you only see it if an opportunity to sign someone, one or two of these players comes in. It breeds that little bit of buzz around the change room as well, you know. Maybe Alan can answer that better than me, but being a player at that level at the time. But I think I only see it as a positive.
I'll jump in there as well. It's excuse me, with the case of, you know, the players wanting. I think before I joined in November, the games that they had played, Dumbo. The scene that we started with on Saturday, I think it was only 4 changes maybe, albeit very good ones who came in to the club because they had the opportunity to play football and an opportunity to win a cup, and they believed in me and the club and what we're trying to do. So we've been fortunate in that respect as well, and of course of where we play. and our sole objective this season is to win the cup. No other way around that. But you know, we've still, if you look at the squad that we currently have, 80% of them have played our game so far. Some it's high, some are quite high, like that. And you know, it's not as though we've got a whole brand new squad in just for this cup. Far from it. You know, we've got players who have been involved in a lot of the games we've had so far, minus 2 or 3. So,
has Jake tried to get a game yet?
No, I think we'd rather play with 10 men.
he's done a training session when we first came back, and he's done the warm up, and that was as far as it went.
Did he last the warm up?
No.
No, he broke down. He broke down. He was in a right old state after just the warm up, and that's the truth.
He used to struggle when he did. He used to struggle when he did the commentary with you, Keith, didn't he?
No comment, no. No comment. We used to look over to each other and have a little smile. But Pamela and Simon are in question, and this should get you a little bit excited. Pamela as well yourself, and you've got obviously Gordon and Simon, obviously you've got Alan. When you now talking senior football, and obviously the FA Vars, and it's getting into the latter rounds now, and you sit there and think, oh, hold on, you know, I'm not saying your club, but my club's got a chance maybe of getting to Wembley. You're on about obviously going back small when you're in, you know, from lower levels, but that's quite realistic now, stepping into that sort of different level of football. Does that sort of make the stomach sort of turn over a little bit, and the butterflies and the excitement about what could happen to your clubs?
I thought it was Christmas Eve the other day, just from coming back from that, you know, going to bed the other night, waiting for that first competitive game. But yeah, I mean, I'm so excited. You know, I love it. You know, I wash the kit, I clean the balls, I do whatever the gaffer needs me to do. But yeah, the thought of getting into sort of the competitions you mentioned there. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been fortunate to be involved in the Vars or the trophy and stuff like that, the FA Cup. You know, I blow my own trumpet. I've been very fortunate, but now with the season next season, you know, looking ahead and stuff like that, we're not involved in the Vars, the FA Cup. It feels really weird, and I bloody miss it already. We're not even started yet, and I miss it, and we're not even in it. So my ambition is to take this club into the FA Vars and the FA Cup in the next couple of years. That's for sure, because I want Simon, the chairman, to taste it and how good it feels to get a win in the cup, especially when you get a couple of grand through the into your bank account after winning through one of the rounds.
So what level do you have to be to get into the FA Vars then? What's the lowest level?
Is it 6?
Step 6 stroke step 5. Step 6 you can apply, and depending on where you are, they're accepting step 6 a lot now.
Yeah,
you've got to do 1 year first at least.
Yeah. So for us, we won't have a chance until the following season. So, but to be honest, I like that because it gives us that 1 year under our belt.
But
I'm impatient. I want it now.
It makes you think you've arrived, doesn't it? You know, you do as you know, every July when I'm sitting there waiting for the fixtures. Obviously, you're waiting for your league fixtures, but you wait through. You've got an FA Cup, and you wait through. You've got and it makes you feel that it's, you know, you're part of it. You feel like, you know, that what you're watching on TV, that you've got that chance, and it does give you that dream.
But do you get this?
Sorry, you normally get the FA Cup and the FA Vars or the draw before the league comes out, didn't you? Some of the before as well. So you actually see you got first, and it gets your butterflies going. Absolutely right, mate.
But did you guys as managers though, when those sort of draws come out, was it a big disappointment if you got somebody from your own league?
No, because when I played, I was playing manager for Ilford, and we played Concord away in the FA Cup, and I scored 2 goals, headed goals, so I was over the moon.
That never worried me, Dave.
I scored 2 in the FA Cup.
Never worried me. Never worried me. The draws you went through the round, especially in the FA Cup, or you know, you were just glad to be in it. Didn't matter who you played. I think the committee, this is going back to my first comment about the coach of the committee, they wanted an away day. They wanted to go somewhere distant where they never met, to put their club on the map, to introduce them to northern side that didn't know whoever what the club was, or a southern side, and really feel part of it. And them days, I used to say to my players, this is for our club. Put something back for your club. You know, you'll get the prestige to play in it, but give the club something back. And it is for them committee, them volunteers, and they were great days.
I mean, the away games are the better games because you haven't got to fill in that bloody awful paperwork.
Oh. And it didn't go down to your own record as well, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind the paperwork side of stuff. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, it's just
as you go through the leagues, Pamela, you will.
Oh, the
FA
FA Cup ones, they're a nightmare. They're an absolute nightmare. So much working out on it, which money goes to where and what goes to what. And it's just a nightmare. Not a case just filling in the two sheet.
Yeah, I can imagine on the ticket sales as well, like the percentages and things.
Arlo only used to have fans of 25 in the FA Cup. That's what was put on the paperwork, Dave, wasn't it?
Do you know what? I always wonder with that, you know, you got to really go with what the other club says it is, and you're just like, I think there's a few more than that.
Apparently you don't. You just say you've got loads of stewards.
Oh, yeah, they're just there's thousands
of
them.
Ways around everything. Just stitch every other club up. They won't give you anything, trust me.
I've seen it in adult football. Oh my goodness. And I'm just like, you really said we got that many fans? Fantastic. I know what we're doing when you come to us.
But it is good fun, and it does give you that. You actually sit there and think, you know what, all the hard work that obviously Simon and Pamela you're going to do, that you sit there and you get that game and you think, wow, this is what it's about. And then it has a massive knock-on effect as what we just keep going about with the youth. You know, you can play in the FA Cup, you can play in the FA Trophy, you know, and it makes all them teams that are local to you want to come and join your club because you've got that facility that can put them on that platform.
Yeah.
I mean, are you guys as new clubs? Are you allowed to play in the Essex Senior Cup, the Hertfordshire Senior Cup? I mean, can you go into that? I mean, and if so, especially if it's like the Essex Senior Cup and you get you're in that, and all of a sudden you manage to get through a round, and then you end up drawing Southend away, that's got to be massive for somebody like yourselves, Simon. If you've got a draw like that.
Yeah, well, the Essex Cup was cancelled. I think we played DTFC. First round, beat those, and then we were drawn against Waltham Abbey, and then they got cancelled. So I think the option, we got an invite to the Essex Senior League Cup, but that clashed with our own League Cup. So the Essex Cup we've had a great opportunity for us, but it was cancelled. Yeah.
Interesting.
Like I said, it's a big thing, but you know, you've got now what we're talking 2 months to the season starts. So obviously with yourself, Alan, that your sort of squad's already sort of in place because you're still playing. But for Pamela, what about yourself? Obviously, you said you got Gordon involved, but you know, you can't sign any players yet, and knowing players, they're not as loyal as they say they are. So have you? Has he said to you, look, I've got these sort of players, or is it, look, well, I'm not looking yet, but this is what it could be?
So he's got players. We're going to be starting training soon. But no, he's got it all in hand. Everyone he's decided to speak to and take on, they're all excited to be a part of us. So I can't see anybody coming away, not from Gordon anyway.
So I'll ask both of you, Simon and Pamela, as obviously owners, chairman, chair people, do you begrudge sort of paying a wage bill at this level?
Well, we don't pay wages at that level. We're not allowed to. We don't. Okay. So yeah.
Or I mean, all right, expenses. Sorry, that's not the right wording.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a case of obviously a commute can be the Essex and Suffolk border league, so it is a fair distance for some people. We sort of spend most of our fixtures in the Suffolk area, so it's a case of looking after players in the sense of they know the project. So for us, the investment will come more on the player side with the levels we go up. At the moment, it's a case of making sure the facility is right in terms of braintree and kit. So the players are playing for the love of football and buying into our journey. We rent a ground, but we can't we can't charge at our level. So there's no income there. It's more about just trying to grow this project. So we know it's going to be a red on the P&L. but it's about the bigger picture and the longer project.
I can just jump on that as well. I mean, what's on offer for the players is, like we said at the start, is try and be as professional as we possibly can be. You know, we've got the training kit and we've got the track suits, and like Simon said earlier, it's not to be egotistical, it's just because we're trying to do the right thing. And it's really refreshing, you know, because the players want to play for us because they do play in a nice ground, because they do play in a nice kit, because they do get a coach and stuff like that, you know. And we're very fortunate in that respect.
Yeah.
You both, go on, Dave.
I was going to say, I've learned something new there tonight. So what's the reasoning behind not paying players and not being able to take stuff through the gate?
I just think the level, unless I'm wrong, I don't think we can at our level. And also, there's no charge at our level. There is no, the teams we play against, there is no stadium as such. There's ourselves, Clapton, Stanway. I think Stanway we paid a couple of pounds to get in, but you can make a contribution. But I think it's the norm, and I might be wrong and not offend anyone, that you don't charge at all for that level, and we haven't done.
Yeah, I think it's down to the leagues. I think I'll try and outside it. Obviously, you can charge if you wish, obviously, but then it needs to be an enclosed or whatever you've got. Paying players, I think you can pay anyone, but legally, it's difficult. But obviously, it's more down to expenditure and things like that. But yeah, but with both of you, have you set a target for each of your clubs where you want to be in a few years' time?
Yeah.
Right. Can I answer that first?
Of course you can, Gaffer. Yeah, it'll be the same.
I'm here to win. You know, I'm here to win things for this club, for Simon. You know, he's got a lot of faith in me to do this. When a number of applicants he could have gone with and we interviewed, but no, I was lucky enough to get the position. But you know, my drive is to win 3 back-to-back promotions. You know, it's a big ask, and like Simon said, we've got no divine right to do anything, but confident in the ability that we've got, the passion within the club, and the ambition that we've got as well, that it's achievable. And I certainly believe that my knowledge of my little black book of players will certainly come into play, and we'll hopefully get a stronger squad for next season, make an assault on that, and then go on from there. That's certainly the idea, to get back-to-back promotions, a bit like Cobbleshaw did, with Ollie, and you know, they done the same thing. They had a target and they started in Essex Border League, and they've done things the right way. And yeah, even Graham Smith, they've done really well, and that's sort of kind of the model that we're following as well. Like Enfield Town as well, you know, well, it's a Phoenix club, but you know, doing things the right way, getting the right people in, and like Pamela said, you know, it's so important to get the right foundation there with the right people around before you even think about the team. And so far, you know, Hertford United and Dunmow Town have both got it by the sound of it.
Yeah, I think we're doing it the right way, both of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, being on the pre-season games. So that's where.
Have you set Gordon a target, like win the league or CLA? No, Chris, it's only that he's watching. We have spoken about it all, and we have some pre-season games of all different sort of abilities for him to test those sort of players and what have you. I have no doubt in Gordon's ability on moving us up very quickly. I fully trust it. So yeah, but no, I do tease him a bit and say, you best win this game, you best do this, you best get us up there. And he's just like, yeah, well, you make sure that you're doing it off the pitch. So can I ask though, but both of you, how hard do you think it will be for Gordon and you, Alan, as well, to get players, and again, to play at that level that they maybe know players that have played at a higher level? Because obviously youngsters now, you've seen it, they all want to play at the highest level they possibly can. Unfortunately or fortunately, the money in non-league football is ridiculous, and it's there without a doubt, especially at the moment of COVID. So how hard is it to get them to buy into your plan?
I think you've got to look at my previous history and experience, and I've looked at a lot of players move on through the leagues, and some making good livings out of it. I've always encouraged, if a player was going to go to a better club, or wrong words, a bigger club, for example, more established club, and he was interested, I'd go and take him there myself, because the club, the player is going to be progressing, and we never want to stop that. And we just want to help his potential. If he can grow with us, brilliant. But how do we get players over? Because because we do the things the right way. I've never managed at this level before. It's all very new to me. But the response we're getting off of players that I know who's in step 4, 5, and 6, 4 and 5 for next season, is that they want to join us already. Because we are trying to give a professional outlook and do things right. And I keep going back to that, do things right. But it's so true. It's so refreshing. And people want to do it, and people want to play for us, and people want to play for me. And regardless of what level it is, I've still got a little bit of pulling power.
Yeah. And the thing is, they respect you, and that's what pulls people. When players play for you and they know you, and they naturally, you've got that respect straight away. So when they turn around to a player and you say, "Hi, I'm starting a club. I'm going to this club. Would you like to join me?" Those ones that know you, believe in you, trust in you, respect you, they will go. And
Absolutely.
even if they don't care, those players there, that they won't care about how much they get paid. They're playing because of who you are and what you believe in and what your club believes in.
Yeah,
and that's where we get our call as well.
Absolutely. Keith knows that better than anyone, I mean, once you've got a set of players who are there for each other and believe in each other, and sometimes money doesn't come into it. I've played for money sometimes, but the best moments I had was when we didn't play for money. We played for the club and played for the badge. And as corny as it may seem, we played for the manager.
I wish it was the case, mate. And you're right. And I'm going back to my Thamesmead days where, like I said, I took a side from a Kennedy to Ryman Prem on peanuts, and we were all together, and a lot of them were my best mates and still are now, to be fair. But I just think sometimes it's not the case now at a higher level. I won't lie. And listen, you still got your loyal players and whatever. At a lower level, I maybe say yes. And I think it dropped down. And I don't know if Dave see today, but one of my old players dislocated his kneecap yesterday badly, and we was all on him. And he don't get me, he's getting right on. He was playing vets, and all them players in my side then going back 10 years ago were the first 15 people to message him straight away. I hope you're well. We haven't seen him for maybe 10 years. It's a major thing. I'm not sure now, going at a higher level, if that's people. The pound coin is a big thing, and there's a big money involved at a higher level now, where even I'd say at step 4, you're talking 3 figures plus for most players, and you do drag them, and I do miss that part of it. And I think it's a really good balancing act now, how you get that with that. Because one club, as you know, will, at whatever level it is, it doesn't matter if it's step 7, will go big time for it, which is great, and nothing wrong with that, because they're more entitled to. And there will be the smaller ones. But it is a little bit more difficult than what it was a few years ago with that. And I know people saying people play for nothing, but I'm not sure. I've had many a conversation over a tenner.
It happens,
Yeah. See, it's really strange, like the players now, because obviously prior to the COVID and everything else, there were players out there that used to play for you and for the badge and for the club. But now a lot of the players recently, the last couple of seasons, they're playing for the money because they need the money, which is fine. It's natural, and they've got food to put on the table and bills to pay, just like everyone. But there are still those players out there that actually do want to play for what you are and what you believe in. And I'd rather work with a player and make them amazing than have a player who's just here from the money, because they're not loyal. They will go to another club as soon as more money is thrown at them. So it's finding those little gems, and it's working on them and having them believe in you and what you're offering and your branding.
Yeah, I've seen both sides of things. I've signed ex-pros on decent money and stuff like that. And, but you get someone, and the old saying of hard work beats talent is so true. And then if they apply themselves and got a great attitude and good punctuality and willing to learn all the time and hungry to learn, you do get them players. And as you'll see, Pamela, with Gordon, he'll have some very good players playing for your club. who will have played at a high level and could continue to play at a high level. And the same will be with Dunmo as well, you know, because of going back to Keith again, I played for a couple of managers who always had the same group of players around him, 6, 7 players around him. You know, Johnny Bennett was my one. I think I played for about 7 clubs for John Bennett. And it happens, and you get that nucleus who do trust you, and it's not about the money, it's not about the extra tenner, it's not about, you know, 40, 50 quid. I mean, you know, it's about playing for the manager and playing for each other and building something from within, which fortunately we've been able to do previously, Keith, and which now me and Gordon on a new venture to do now.
Would you rather play players? So, with your sort of players you've got, would you rather have sort of players from, say, your youth sides, if you've got them or if you're going to get them, rather than maybe going to another club and getting loan players in? So, would you rather be looking at the youth players in your club to come into the first if they're good enough, or would you rather go outside and get, you know, players in there?
You know what, David, when I went from Ilford, I went to Redbridge, and there was an Environment Premier at the time, and it was bottom of the league, and we had a decent budget, but you know, there was underachieving so badly. I think they won one game up until Christmas, and I thought I could go there, and I was young and vibrant, enthusiastic. I could turn it around, but no, it's too long gone. But what I did do is we had a youth side who was successful in the FA Youth Cup, and I think they took Middlesbrough to penalties, something like that. And 6 of that youth side, I decided to promote into the first team to give them experience for the rest of the season, to promote within. And it gave, you know, it really gave, and some of the players are doing really, really well to this day. But no, I believe, you know, what you're saying there, David, that if you can get some lads together who stay together and grow together, then you're on a winner, mate.
I see for us at Hertford, the first thing once we've got our youth established is we would always be looking internally first, always, never going outside. It will be looking straight to the youth, seeing do we have talent, and we'll be inviting that youth into the training sessions and things like that, just because what one coach sees, another one doesn't. Everyone always sees something different in a player, and it's what you need at that time. And you shouldn't always look outside the window first. You should always look inside internally, in my opinion.
7 of my team that played in the Ryman Prem with me come from my youth side with me.
Yeah,
we were young.
Fantastic.
And going back, we didn't have anything else. I always sat there and thought, you know, I wasn't privileged to manage a club that had untold money, right? But I always sat there and thought, do you know what? How gutted or what a bad manager I'd be if I didn't pick the next Wayne Rooney. And all of a sudden he's on TV and he's playing for some other club and he's come through your youth side and you ain't picked him. And there are a lot of managers that don't look at youth sides at all.
No, they don't.
Turn up on a Sunday, and you know how much games I watch and whatever. And I'm involved with youth football a lot, not just because my boys now, but because that is it. That is where they come from. And I think as a good manager, you know, you straight away you can spot someone that you think, you know what, in a year or 2 or 3 years' time, he's going to be all right, you know.
Yeah, in the SSC League with Ilford, we had a good youth setup as well that we built from scratch, and we couldn't afford to pay players. We didn't have that, but it was against teams like the Bowers and Barkins at that time who had a budget. So we promoted, I think there was 7 reserve players, all under the age of 19, all coming to the first team. And I think we finished 3rd and 4th for a couple of years running, and they had really good performances in the FA Cup and the FA Vars and stuff. But, you know, it's just, you know, you've got to give them the opportunity, because you know what Pamela's saying about, you know, people, they walk away. It happened to some of us when we were all younger and got kicked out of our clubs because it wasn't good enough. And, you know, to give them another opportunity is fantastic. And we'll be doing the same in the summer. We'll be getting the trialists out, and we've got a good reserve side who are young and hungry as well. So, you know, it's all good.
Yeah, I think it's key as well. You've got to have that relationship, and the youth side need to see as well that the first team are looking. Because if they don't see it, and you're not going to even if it goes to the training sessions for the under 17s, 18s and 16s, you're turning up at the training sessions, or even the players, you know, to have a kickabout with them at a training session. it's showing that, yes, there is that pathway. It is real. It's not just for show. It's not just a word on a piece of paper saying we're associated. That you are actively looking. So no, it's important. I think everything.
That was my conversation today with Jordan and James, the reserve boys, the lads, and I said it's really important that you come over to watch. I mean, he's a first team manager. When I was a 17, 18-year-old and I was playing in youth or reserves, and you got the first team manager coming over, or the assistant or a coach coming over, you feel special. We're going back to when you was at your lads in the car park, Keith. They look up to you and all that, and they raise the game to think, yeah, they do give a monkeys.
Yeah.
So now,
and not only that, it's going into adult football. It's a different style of play as well, and from youth style of play to adult style of play, there's a big transition differences in it, and you might find that there's an under 18s player and he's been missed, and he came along to a couple of training sessions, and you know what, his style of play is actually fitted really well in the first team, but you would never have looked at him because his style of play in the youth side, you would just walked away from, basically, and he would have never been missed. So I always think it's important, because I just see so many kids and so many players.
It's hard, Pamela, as well, wasn't it? Because a lot of it is about depends on the person himself or herself. Yeah. Because sadly, we all react from getting knocked down, and we get back up again, and we go again. And of course, with experience, there was with older people, you'd learn to deal with that a lot easier. But as youngsters, it's difficult, I know. But it's also having the mindset to say, hold on a minute, I am better than this. I am going to do this. And I'm going to go and give my very best to do this, because there's plenty of other young people out there who just rather stay indoors and play on their Xbox and stuff like that,
Yeah, and that's the thing.
They want to help themselves as well.
Yeah, you've got to build that confidence up, haven't you?
Yeah. It's also what sort of position the club wants to be in. If the club just want instant success, then as a manager, you can't dip into a youth side sometimes. If your job's on the line where you've got to get promoted or you've got to do that, you've got to do what you're best at. So there's a lot of clubs around that do that, that do miss. And that's maybe where your clubs can come and, nick the players off a Ware or a Harlow or whatever that might not be great, but you've seen it, and it happens a lot.
I see it a lot, because I'm heavily involved in youth setups anyway, being a part of a league, and I just see it all the time. And a lot of them just get their confidence is just knocked out of them. And I just think, God, you're a cracking player. I said, you're amazing. Just because that club don't want you, it doesn't mean another club doesn't. And so don't give up, because there is a club out there that wants you. And you just got to draw them back out of that shell that they've suddenly gone into. And they can even be 21-year-olds, 23-year-olds. I see it with even adults, where they get knocked and told they're too old and not good enough. And I'm just thinking, crikey, you're not too old. You're only in your 20s. You still got something to give, So
the thing is that they've been sold the dream, haven't they? That's the thing. They've been sold the dream, and they've been so disappointed and let down, and of the hype that goes with it, and turning up to school in all the training kit of West Ham or something like that. It guts them, and it takes sometimes. I've seen lots of players have been good enough to, who was in West Ham's youth teams and stuff like that. Even I was playing against Barking a few years ago, and we had Michael Black playing for Barking, and he, 2 years before, he was playing for Arsenal against Panathinaikos in the Champions League
at Wembley.
yeah, that's right. And it's people through. It takes a lot of personality and grit to get back, but there's a lot more support now, like from everyone here on here, and Pamela especially, who do believe in these young people to try and give them another opportunity. Just so people can see that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Someone's just texted and asked me to ask Alan, was Alan popping out to make sure the coach was still there?
Yeah,
he's on his way to Hartford.
Yeah, I've just got to coach to the toilet and back.
Well, listen, guys, it's been a fantastic evening. Really enjoyed it, especially being in the presence of Mr. Southgate. So very pleasure to have you on, sir. But no, in all fairness, it's been a great evening learning about new clubs and how you managed to set them up. And me and Keith wish you all the very, very best for the future. And hope to see you up in the in the Isthmians and Southerns and all that sort of leagues in the very, very near future.
There. Yeah, we'll get there. And we'll have reserves coming through as well.
Hannah, have you arranged a friendly with Hertford Town yet?
No.
Okay.
So we've got our pre-season friendlies all booked in. We're all done.
Brilliant.
We're all booked in with our teams now. So
can I just say to both of you, Al and Dan, to Simon and Pamela, obviously all my years, it's really lovely to listen to two people that are so enthusiastic about starting a new club. For me, and I'm going back to right where we started at the beginning, the FA are absolute pain in the backside. I'm trying to put it really nicely, and they've killed football clubs and they've killed people's passion. And to hear two people like you that have got that passion makes me sit there and think, do you know what? There's a future for non-league football, and you both seem to have your heads right screwed on. So you're not two nutters that just want to come along and build this side. You both really seem clear, and I wish you all the best. And I really, really hope there's other people now that are watching, thinking, do you know what? I want to do that. I want to and listen to both of you. So I think it's brilliant, and I think both of you will really do well. So
thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, thank you. And at the end of the day, you've got to be enthusiastic about football. Who cannot be enthusiastic about football? And I just want to inspire other people. Like, you know what? If you want to start a football club, go for it. Why not? Try. You know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But no, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great future, I think, for both clubs. You know, and
Dave, me and Dave used to support a team, didn't we, Dave?
We did.
And what team was that?
That used to be, what was that, Moseley. Unfortunately,
Moseley now in it. So we're going to follow both of your results now.
Absolutely.
Every week, Dave's going to say how you both got on.
Absolutely.
No, that'd be lovely.
Well,
yeah.
Hopefully it'll be win for both clubs.
Oh,
100%.
And
listen, guys, if you want to come back on at any time and come back on and tell us how it's gone, then by all means you can. You know, we'll sort that out as well.
Well, if we're allowed out, Dave, we'll come and do the show at one of their grounds.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that'd be fantastic! I'll get Gordon with me, and you can have him both us
He's
together.
been on enough. Don't worry about him.
Oh no, you've got to have my right man. So.
You'd have sacked him by then. Anyway.
No. No, I fully trust that man. I fully believe in him. I think he's going to take us to places.
Yeah, he will.
But no, a massive thank you. It really has been an absolute pleasure to have you both on, all three of you on tonight, and it's been a real pleasure. Me and Keith will be back with you next week. And I've just been texted as we've been going through. Somebody was going to come on the show a few weeks ago, and then it was going to come on again tonight and all the rest of it. And we're talking about people being passionate about their football team. Well, we've got somebody that's probably one of the most passionate people about their football team, and DT will join us next week from DTFC. So yes, we're going to find somebody that is very passionate about their team. Me, I'll be back with the girls on Friday. We're recording it on Thursday because the girls want to go out to the pub on Friday, so we're going to record it on Thursday. But I've got to speak to Keith after the show's finished. We might even have a little bit of a special for you midweek this week. Somebody's just texted me to say that they're ready to do an interview with us, so we might have that for you some point during the week, depending on Keith's free.
For me.
But until next week, from me and Keith and from all of our guests,